My volume is very high. I forgot to turn that back down after we were doing an audio test. Hey everyone, welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. All that good stuff that you're either aware of me doing at the start of an episode or not.
I didn't fuck it up for you this
You
time.
didn't fuck it up this time. Well done. Congratulations. I mean, the last one we had to do 2 takes of the intro because you fucked it up. Anyway, welcome back. Sorry we're a little late with my review this week. We just ran out of time when we were meant to do it. But we are back. I'm your host, Papa Midnight, joined as ever by Amelia, the Obsidian Nook, Pal SMR, all that good shit.
I'm basically on everything under Fallen Petals 111 as well.
Wow, that's a new plug.
You can find me. I'll just
You can find her. That's
on
her in the corner. That's her in the spotlight.
That's me in the corner.
Exactly. Anyway, welcome back. Once again, I apologise for us being late this week. It just stuff got in the way.
Guys, we don't get paid. You get your fucking content, okay? Deal with it.
How dare you?
How
dare
being
you?
honest, we don't get paid.
I know
for
we
this
don't
shit,
get
and I
paid.
don't get paid for mine, so you get what you get, okay?
I
It's
still.
like a tin of baked beans on the shelf. It says baked beans. You're gonna get fucking baked beans. Deal with it.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Do you have a vendetta against baked beans?
No.
My God, that was a passionate whatever you want to call that.
Worse, I could take the label off the baked beans, and everyone has to guess. Like in the past, when my mum was saying when her mum went to the shop and you didn't know what you'd get in your fucking tin, could end up with anything.
Welcome to the baked bean episode. There needs to be like a subtext for like every fucking episode of just what random like rant happens within the first like 5 minutes of the review.
As I say, we don't get paid. You get what you get. Deal with it. It sounds.
What a charming what. Oh, stop! You sound like your sister. Anyway,
No, she says it is what it is.
that's the same thing basically. Well, no, she says stuff like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We don't talk to that bitch. Anyway, we're looking at The Descent this week. It is my turn.
I was not ready for this film.
You were not ready. I refuse to give you. Honestly, it's worth watching this film before you listen to us talk about it.
If you've got claustrophobic.
This film is claustrophobic as fuck. Yeah, with you, I didn't tell you anything except that it was a horror.
Yeah, but it's only because like weeks prior, TikTok during the middle of the night, it would come up and it'd have like those cave-in videos.
Yeah, unfortunately, she did have. Well, I'm just going to put the spoiler warning in now. Spoilers, obviously, because we need to discuss a lot of this, like right off the bat. Amelia had the crawlers, as they are called in the film, spoiled from her from some twat who claimed it to be a demon on TikTok.
Oh my god, yeah. They literally took that image, that first image.
The first time it appears on Holly's video camera.
Like on, it was a TikTok where people were claiming that there's a real cave in real life with these fucking monsters. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "You fucking kidding me?"
That would have probably been a
That's
more
exactly
effective scare if you hadn't have
exactly
seen that
the
stupid shit.
That they fucking. I was like, "Oh, so they've took it from this film."
They've just stole it from the film and claimed it to be real because found footage is such an easy thing to imitate and pass off as like this legitimate thing. But obviously, the crawlers are iconic.
Yeah, but they kind of look similar to the Creep.
As I can't remember if I mentioned in Creep or if I told you while we were watching or after we did the review that they look a lot like the fucking Creep from Creep. But these are done a lot better. And this film doesn't have SA in it. And for a film where where all but one person in the main cast is a woman, not a single titty is shown explicitly. After we've just covered Halloween 2, and also what other one? Our special episode coming out in the middle of October has a lot of titties in it.
I will say this now, I didn't hate the film.
She didn't hate it. For a change, she didn't hate it.
Because it was a cave-in one and there's a lot of tight spaces and that's the only thing that I really struggled with because I can't imagine being in such a small, tight space myself.
Yeah, that's like most of the horror. And the fact that all of these caves...
See those, they've got that phobia when the holes and that.
Oh, I think that's called agoraphobia. I may be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but
When there's like those holes and that,
yeah,
there's a phobia of that.
there's a phobia for everything. But
A
yeah,
bit like spiders.
as I kept saying to you, it's just like all of these caves were surprisingly like built for the
I
film.
mean, it helped when you pointed out
It
that
did look, they did look really good. There was some fucking
closed.
yeah, that was funny. There's a brief shot when they're all standing there. You can see a guy in a well lit area who's clearly who I think after the film came out, they claimed they either passed it off as a joke because obviously it's a mistake. I think they might have just been like, "Oh yeah, that's one of the crawlers. That's not a crewman." like, like I can't remember if they officially like said it.
And you can tell as well this is 100% British because you said it was a British film.
It's a
But
British film.
also how they talk. You can just
Yeah, like that, like Beth especially, just telling people to fuck off all the time is
it's
amazing.
pretty accurate. Watch that, and this is what British people are like.
It's not well.
They
I
didn't
think
have any tea and biscuits in there, so that won't be.
yeah. Well, at least there was that. But yeah, there is. There's the shot of the guy under there.
Mm.
But still, I forgot what we were on about now. Other than the dude who was just like,
The film being British.
yeah, the film is set in Virginia, I believe, but all the exterior shots were done in Scotland, and obviously all the interior shots were on sets built for it. And my God, the caves do look good. I know it's a lot safer, but the extra step of actually building stages, like on a sound stage, they built the sets in order for it to look as good as it does. It really helps sell the sort of like claustrophobia, and it makes you, especially you who didn't like the claustrophobia, and I kept being like, this is done on a set, like everyone is safe. At the very least, there's that. But yeah, that the set design is like amazing, and the design of the crawlers is really cool. Better looking than the fucking creep. Anyway, we'll get into the actual film now. We'll do our little like breakdown as we go on, give our thoughts on some key scenes. Yeah. So this is written and directed by Neil Marshall. I'm not familiar with his work. He didn't direct the sequel that came out, so I must say that we will kind of be spoiling a little bit of the second one. We have well, you've not seen the second one.
Not
Obviously,
not
this is your first time watching this.
Yeah, not happy about the right one.
That didn't pick any of that up.
Wasn't happy about the ending as that wasn't the right one.
Yeah, we had the UK
So
version. Yeah, it's a bit more depressing of the original idea, but obviously because we watched the UK version, the ending is different. As I said, Neil Marshall did not direct the sequel, but he did like executively produce it. But the second one is still pretty shit, if I'm honest. So getting in with the movie, trio. I think I think the Whitewater. They're like going down Whitewater Rapids. I don't know what you want to call that. I've just put kayak in. That's easier.
Yeah. Um,
Sarah, played by Shauna McDonald, Juno, Natalie Mendoza, and another who I couldn't tell who it was, but it's Beth. I will get to her later on when we have a bit more of an introduction. They're going down a river, watched by Sarah's husband and daughter. Juno and the other woman, Beth, obviously, stay behind to finish up for Sarah and her family to head home. They travel down the road until her husband takes her eyes off the road, which shocked you when this happened. Yeah, so that causes a fatal collision that impales both him and the daughter.
Final Destination shit.
Is very Final Destination-y. But also, in the American version, I believe there's more of an extended shot of inside the car. You don't see the little girl, but you see him, like, twitching from being impaled through the face. Yeah, it's grim. It reminded me of the Scream 2, the detective in that gets fucking wrecked. But yeah. Sarah awakens sometimes later in a hospital where she is alone until she runs into. Wait, what? Sorry, it wasn't late when we did this, but like They just fucking
No, that was when
can't speak English apparently.
she was running down the corridor and all the
Well, she's alone as the lights were like turning off behind her until she reunites with Juno and Beth, who I will now say is played by Alex Reed. Somewhere in Northern Virginia, Beth and Sarah head to a national park in order to have a getaway. There they meet with Juno at a cabin alongside Rebecca, played by Saskia Mulder. I believe she's a Danish actress. Sam Moyana Buring. She's a Swedish actress, but Sam is Rebecca's sister in this. And a newcomer, Holly, played by Nora Jane Noon. The girls share many drinks and fun memories with one another that night in the cabin, and Sarah struggles to sleep, having nightmares about the accident. Juno awakens the others early the next day, and they take one last photo of everyone together. Before everybody dies. Nearly. They arrive at their location with Juno leaving a map of the cave system behind, and they all head out. Juno decides to be a complete piece of shit.
I didn't like her. As soon as
Juno
she
is a bitch.
left that map, I was like, she's such a cow.
Well, her reasoning is
her ego is so big, and it's like you want to risk your friends' lives.
She just wanted to name a cave system that no one had explored before. Like, yeah, that worked out for him when. Spoilers for the second one, literally everyone dies except for Sarah. Like, Juno comes back and then dies.
Good.
Yeah, don't worry, she does die. Yeah, she survives this. Well, her fate is left ambiguous until it made enough money that they shut out a pretty mediocre sequel, unfortunately. So. Juno leads the others through the Appalachian wilderness, eventually arriving at a cave where they make their way down. The women descend. Get it? I had to slip it in there somewhere. I literally have in my script the women descend brackets lol. Deeper into the caves, not noticing a member of the film crew below them. Yeah. I had to point that out to you when I saw it, because you can't unsee it when you notice it. Sarah separates from the others and looks around before Juno appears and calls her back to the others for a break, where she apologizes to Sarah for not being there for her. When they finish, Sarah finds a small passageway for the group to pass through. Most of them get through it, with Sarah being the last one after almost being trapped when it collapses behind her. They all recover and they learn that Juno had deliberately put them off course from a safer cabin, ending up inside a cave system that hasn't been explored. Yeah, Juno and her fucking, like, oh, I thought we could name it after you, Sarah. And it's like, yeah, great. You piece of shit. You got all your friends killed. And yourself. Yeah, piece of shit character. Only gets worse as it gets on, by the way. They all recover and they learn that Juno. Oh, yeah, I've already read that bit. Sarah shines a torch on a wall, spotting something that quickly. I want to say skitters, because I think that's pretty accurate for how that thing gets out there. Of course, that's something being one of the crawlers. With no other choice, they press onwards, almost dropping off an edge into a seemingly bottomless chasm with a tunnel on the other side. Rebecca volunteers to go over and create some holdings to allow the others across, using someone's old hook as a support to make it. It's never really explained where this hook came from, but it's clear that the crawlers killed whoever put it there. The group barely make it across after Juno almost falls and Rebecca badly wounds her hands from the rope. No, Sam burns her hand.
The constant blood pissing out and that.
Yeah, her hands are like deeply like sliced open.
I'll give them that for the gore and that.
The gore is good for a not low budget film, but yeah. After passing through another tight tunnel, they find a cave painting that seems to tell them there is possibly another exit elsewhere. Holly rushes through an opening towards what she believes is an exit, but falls down a hole, breaking her leg as she does. I think the light is phosphorus in the rock. I think they called it. I don't know how true that is in regards to that being a real thing. But anyway, that was stupid of her. Also, her breaking her leg is disgusting because a bone is sticking out. That was grim. That was grim, but that also made me happy because, like, it's like practical is better than digital, as we have said several times in the past. The others make their way down. I'm not. I did my best to not say they descend because like the joke is funny like the once, and then it's just like, no, I'm just gonna stop. So yeah, they made their way down in order to help her out of the area she was trapped in and help with her leg. Sam, by the way, I didn't mention because it's not really important except for this scene. She is like learning to be a doctor, so they basically like put a splint on her leg.
But obviously now she's broken a leg, that puts her in a vulnerable position.
Well, that's Holly. Holly broke her leg, but Sam's the doctor. Sarah heads away from them after hearing giggling, finding an abandoned helmet as the others split up Holly's leg. That was nasty to watch. Also, they did say on their way over that there's going to be like hallucinations, panic attacks, and paranoia and all this stuff, and that is basically what happens on top of something actually killing them. So I did have to spoil it to you a little bit. It's the fact that they are real, the crawlers, and not just hallucinations, or something like that, or someone going nuts and killing everyone. She hears something in the dark and investigates it, but flees when Juno appears, who doesn't believe her and claims she's losing it. Yeah, this whole like bit before the crawlers actually like attack and start killing them is all like, is this real, or is Sarah just losing it in her PTSD from her family dying? The women continue onwards, carrying a badly injured Holly with them until they climb a wall surrounding a floor covered in bones, which is always a good sign. They stop for a moment in order to use Holly's camera to look around. Considering I'm literally just wrapping up Outlast when this video comes out, seeing all the green night vision immediately made me think of that. I was just like, oh, I'm used to this. I'm waiting for all their eyes to glow in the dark. Sarah uses it to look around until she suddenly spots a monster in the dark. This is the famous scene that you were just talking about the apparent demon in a cave. Unfortunately, this demon is very real for them. It attacks Holly and rips her throat out. Yummy. Juno jumps to her aid, but is unable to stop the crawler from dragging her way as Sarah falls and gets knocked out. Juno fights another that attacks her, however, she kills it with her axe. However, unfortunately, in a panic, she swings around, stabbing Beth through the neck with her axe after believing she's a crawler. Yeah, that wasn't good. Yeah, that sucks. She gets very like that goes right through, and you were confused later on when Sarah finds her about how she's still talking. Yeah, yikes. As Beth lays on the ground bleeding out, Juno leaves her behind, unaware that Beth has a pendant. Sarah awakens in the dark, finding her torch broken, but Holly's camera intact. This film is very dark. Like, don't watch this in the day, or you're not going to be able to see fucking anything. She points the camera over several human skeletons and animal remains before a noise scares her into hiding. Holly's body suddenly drops down as a number of crawlers approach and begin to devour her body while she hides nearby. Sam and Rebecca continue on their own, having to hide in the dark as they and Sarah both discover that the creatures are blind. Juno wanders around calling for the others as Sam and Rebecca are attacked by a crawler but are rescued by Juno, who breaks its neck. Juno tells them of Holly's death and Beth's apparent death by crawlers. So yeah, like Juno just straight up lies to them that Beth was killed by crawlers, but I mean, piece of shit character. Sarah, while searching, finds the somehow still alive Beth. Like, it has been a while, she should have bled out from her wound by now. Who tells her what Juno did to her, giving her her pendant. Beth tells her before dying that Juno and Sarah's husband had an affair. Ooh. And begs for a merciful death. I mean, she could have had a more merciful death than being cracked over the head with a rock by fucking Sarah. Sarah is suddenly attacked by a smaller crawler who she literally stomps the head in of. Yeah, that was fucked. As a female crawler approaches, Sarah flees from it until she falls into a refuse pool of blood and other things. Yeah, I think in the second one, like, it's literally like a big shit pool. As well as, like, it's just full of blood. And, so yeah. The female crawler attacks her, but she manages to stab it through the eye with a bone and kill it before bashing another of the crawlers' heads in. Juno, Rebecca, and Sam keep going, with Sam insisting that they leave Sarah behind, because what a lovely person. More crawlers pursue them to the same chasm as before, and Sam realizes they took their gear with them in order to reuse their resources. Sam begins to make her way across despite her hand injuries. Yeah, because I think it was her that had the rope burn. It was very confusing and in the dark. And Sam and Rebecca, I must admit, do look very similar. Juno calls out to her to stop as they don't have enough rope. But unfortunately, a crawler appears above her, clawing her throat out as she stabs it before dying. In the second one of them literally uses her dead body to swing across the gap.
Ugh.
Yeah. Well, it's the only way across. It's because her body's still hanging by that rope. So they literally just have to sort of grab on, swing. Rebecca as well is grabbed and dragged into the tunnel, having her insides torn open as Juno jumps into the chasm. Yeah, that was quick and not very clean. She lands in the water at the bottom, finishing off Sam's killer in the pool when it tries to attack her. Yeah, I did say there was water. She climbs out of the water where she is rescued by Sarah, who asks about her friends, and Juno thanks that picked that up if you just headbutting the mic. She climbs out of the water where she is rescued by Sarah, who asks her about her friends, and Juno lies to her about seeing Beth die. They arrive in a room inhabited by several crawlers that they manage to fight off and kill, and in the aftermath, Sarah confronts Juno, stabbing her in the leg as a swarm of crawlers approach before leaving her behind. Doesn't die, importantly, because obviously they retcon it for the sequel, because it made too much money. Sarah continues to run until she sees daylight, climbing a pile of bones to escape through a small hole. She resurfaces and makes her way back through the woods to their vehicles. She begins to drive away and stops to take a breather some distance away from it. And after briefly breaking down, she looks up to see a bloody Juno in her passenger seat. Now, this is where the American version ends. But if you watch the UK version, like we did, she suddenly awakes, finding herself still in the cave with a vision of her dead daughter in front of her as crawlers can be heard screaming before the film cuts to black. And ends, importantly. So yeah, that was The Descent. What were your thoughts while we're there?
It was a very, very I can't pronounce that word.
Claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Mm.
To watch it.
Mm.
The fucking gore of their insides being ripped out was fucking gross.
Lots of practical bloods. Oh. Mm.
But I think the thing I did notice is when Sarah was fighting off that female one in that pool of blood, and just all of a sudden she stands up out of it, I kind of noticed that she would become a different person.
Yeah. Well, she had to whack her best friend's head in with a.
It's just like the look she gave the camera and like kind of.
And how she played dead while that crawler crawled across her.
She did really act this one out really well, I think, personally.
Yeah, she did well for a woman who's just lost her family, but then also just lost her best friend. Learning that in reality her friend killed her. She is clearly like, I don't give a fuck how I get out of here, I'm getting out of here.
But I'm glad she got out, realistically, even though the end that we had was.
And unfortunately in the sequel they drag her back to that camp and make all of it go wrong again. So yeah, that's fun. But yeah, any more thoughts? Do you want to give your verdict on your two questions I usually ask you?
I don't have it on DVD, but you do.
Yeah, would you have got it on DVD if you had seen it without me?
Probably not.
No?
Just because, as I say, it is so claustrophobic and it's a bit too gory for me. And having the insides ripped out, that was a little bit too much.
The gore was horrible.
But it wasn't a bad film, realistically.
So, was it your cup of tea?
Not really.
not really.
It's something that you watch kind of once and then kind of be like.
Did you enjoy it though, at least?
I mean, it was, as I say, it was alright. I'm kind of bothered more by the ending. It's just kind of.
Well, as I say, that wasn't the official ending they chose, because the sequel, obviously, they chose to keep the US version, because that allowed them to wiggle in some retcons. Excuse me. Right, anyway, going on to best kill, worst kill. Best kill, we equally decided was going to go to Beth. You were going to pick Juno until I told. No, you were going to pick Juno for worst kill because it was off screen, but obviously because it's not the official ending, she does survive for the second film. So yeah, best kill for Beth because it was honestly quite sad because obviously she just gets stabbed in the neck and then Sarah's forced to just like bludgeon her to death with a rock. Brutal. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Also, first for our channel, we have decided not to give a worst kill. We thought everything was pretty good. Nobody had a shit death, realistically, including the crawlers. No one was off screen, realistically, and it's a bit cruel giving worst kill to a little girl that was impaled through the head off screen. But oh yeah, no worst kill for a channel first. Yeah, overall, really good. I do love the set design and like the creature design was good, even if it looked a lot like the creature from Creep, a film that came out a year ago that absolutely fucking sucked and sits at the bottom of our letterboxd. Even though you had it for so long and then we've rewatched garbage.
Well, it was one of Mum's. But as I say, we've watched it now and I never remember pulling out that much, but
still, we thought, fuck it. You chose that one as like a you were going to decide if you wanted to keep it after remembering it, but it'd been so long since you'd watched it, so we just went, fuck it. And that immediately went to the charity shop. We finished watching it. And it will forever rot at the bottom of our letterbox as the worst film we've reviewed so far.
it's going to take a lot to have something else to go right at the bottom.
Yeah, it's going to take some seriously shit films to go below that, and I'm sure there's one out there. But we will wait and see. That is a film that we will discover one day. That is all from us today. I've been your host, Purple Midnight 8, joined as ever by the Obsidian Nook, Petal ASMR, my wife, whatever she needs to be known as. You can find her links as well as all of ours in the description inside of the link tree. But other than that, it is Amelia's turn in a couple of days. I'm gonna pick. But for now, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you then.